Bing and Frank's Great Adventures. 8 Inspiring Stories to Help Build Confidence and Self-Belief by Elizabeth Hughes. Illustrated by Bob Toner. The Haunted House. As Rachel's red car disappears into the distance, Bing and Frank explode through the garden gate. "Where are we going today?" barks Frank as he runs to keep up with Bing. Frank's legs are not as long as Bing's, but he's not going to be left behind. "Today, young Frank, we're going to the haunted house," says Bing, his tongue hanging out of the side of his mouth as he races up the lane. Frank shouts, "Yippee, haunted! This sounds like fun." Frank is now running very fast, his long black ears sailing behind his head. He can't wait to get there. Only one problem: they don't know the way. "I know who to ask. We can ask Ben," says Bing. Ben lives on the hill behind Bing and Frank's house. Ben is an old Alsatian dog who now hobbles rather than runs. He is at least 15 years old, which is very old for a dog. He knows about many things and can tell them the way to the haunted house. All of a sudden, Bing realises that Frank's not behind him anymore. He screeches to a halt and turns to come back to where he finds Frank stopped still, as if glued to the spot. "Does the haunted house frighten you?" asks Bing. "Oh no," says Frank, "it's not the haunted house. It's Ben that frightens me." "Why's that?" says Bing. "He always looks so cross. I don't think he likes me," replies Frank. Bing smiles to himself. "Frank," says Bing, "Ben looking cross has nothing to do with you." "Oh," says Frank, relaxing a little. "Yes," continues Bing, "Ben is an old dog now, and his eyesight isn't as good as ours. He has to squint to see you clearly. You see, Frank, just because it looks like Ben is cross doesn't mean that he doesn't like you. Anyway, I think it's more important that you like yourself." "Why is that, Bing?" says Frank. Bing explained, "If you like yourself, it will not matter what someone else thinks of you." "You really think so, Bing?" says Frank, not quite sure it could be that easy. Bing replies, "Oh yes, very important to like yourself." Bing is really confident. He does not worry about what others think of him. Frank thinks he'll try this too. Reassured, they continue on their way. As the dogs reach the top of the hill, Ben ambles out to meet them. Frank notices now that Ben seems to be looking crossly at Bing too. Bing takes no notice and greets Ben in his usual cheerful way as he growls, "Hello." Frank thinks that Bing is so calm and cool and he can talk to any dog. He would like to be like that one day. Bing is great at being himself and being confident. "Come on, let's go," shouts Frank, getting impatient. Frank is so excited to explore the old house and see if there really is a ghost living there. Ben tells Bing and Frank that the house is half a mile away. They decide that there's just enough time to get there and explore before they'll be back for tea. Bing and Frank leave Ben and head off. Soon they come to a hole in the hedge that leads to the garden of the old house. It's autumn time and the light is beginning to set behind the oak trees at the back of the house. There's a gentle breeze blowing and the branches of the trees are gently swaying. Frank pops his head through the hedge and catches his first glimpse of the old house. He can see the broken glass windows and the dusty brick walls. The front door is hanging at an angle and creaking slightly in the breeze. The grass in the garden is overgrown and the leaves are swirling on the path that curls itself around the house. No one has lived in this house for a very long time. Bing and Frank make their way through the hedge and up the garden path. Frank pounces on the leaves as they blow around his feet. As they get closer to the house, they see something white moving in a downstairs window. This white thing moves up and down and up and down, and there's a slight moaning noise. Frank and Bing look at each other. "What on earth?" says Frank. They do not know if the white thing has seen them or not. What do they do now? Do they turn and run? Or walk away slowly? Or keep going on? "Look, Bing," says Frank, is that the ghost?" It looks like a ghost, white shaped, that is hovering and making an eerie sound. The two dogs decide to move forward to have a closer look. They have come all this way and don't want to be put off now. Gathering up all their courage and swallowing their fear, they decide to move towards the white thing. They tiptoe up the path. The white thing continues to move up and down the rusty old window. Then it suddenly stops and looks straight at them. Frank finds it hard to keep his little legs from trembling. The white thing is staring straight at Bing and Frank are staring straight back. Somehow they keep moving forward. Bing starts to adjust his eyes to the dimming light. He recognises something. Or should that be someone familiar? Bing whispers, "I think I recognise that white face." "You do?" says Frank. "Yes," says Bing. "I think our ghost is Tallulah," continues Bing. "Tallulah who?" says Frank. "Farmer Billy's cow," says Bing. "She must have wandered in from the nearby field." Bing and Frank are a little disappointed it isn't a ghost, but somewhat relieved. They start to see the funny side, and before you know it, they are rolling about in the grass, laughing very loudly indeed, shouting, "Tallulah hoo!" They are not giggling so much their tummies hurt. Tallulah looks at the two dogs somewhat confused. She thinks they must have lost their marbles. "Dogs," she mumbles. She shakes her head upward, swishes her tail, and wanders off home. By the time Bing and Frank have stopped laughing, Tallulah is out of sight. What a great adventure, thinks Frank. How brave little Frank is, thinks Bing. As it is getting late now, Bing and Frank think that they had better head home too. From me, Bing and Frank, we hope you have some great adventures too, and until the next time, it's bye from us. Bye! If you'd like to know more about the Bing and Frank series, please check out our website at www.bingandfrank.com or email us on info@bingandfrank.com. Thank you. This video was created by Mark Wilson and Elizabeth Hughes.